instructed that no one from MSNBC News will be permitted in this building for the duration of this trial.
Welcome back to the channel. This is Anna's Thoughts and Musical Parodies, and I am Anna, your hostess. Thank you so much for being here today. As always, if you would like to support what I do here, you can check out the second page of the website that will be linked in the description. I have my own original merchandise, exclusive Patreon content, and a couple other ways that you could support me if you so desire. Thank you so much in advance to anyone who decides to do that. Alright, so at the end of the first video that I did on this topic, which you might want to go back and watch first if you haven't seen it yet, I was talking about how there was a possibility that Kyle could get off of the carrying an illegal gun charge that they were considering because of the state of Wisconsin allowing 16 and 17-year-olds, I believe it is, to use certain types of guns for certain reasons. And thankfully, on Monday, November 15th, Judge Bruce Schroeder dismissed the misdemeanor weapons charge against Kyle Rittenhouse prior to the start of closing arguments in the homicide trial. So that is very encouraging. But since then, there have been several days of extended deliberations over the verdict of the trial. On Tuesday, November 16th, I saw that Jack Posobiec tweeted 2 jurors holding decision up, outright citing backlash per U.S. Marshal in Kenosha. Worried about media leaking their names, what will happen to their families, job, etc. This is really pathetic to me that this is something that we have to deal with at all, including doxing threats from anarchist groups. I think we all know who those are. And as you saw some examples of in the intro, there have been opposing groups protesting outside of the courthouse in Kenosha during this time of deliberation. And here is some CBS News coverage of that.
Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is nervously awaiting a verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Some demonstrators have already gathered around the courthouse where deliberations continue this morning. And our Nancy Chen is monitoring it all in Kenosha for us again this morning.
Jury left yesterday with no sign of a verdict more than 8 hours after starting deliberations. That did include asking the judge for additional copies of their instructions as they weigh 5 charges against Kyle Rittenhouse.
No justice!
Opposing protesters for and against a guilty verdict gathered outside the Kenosha courthouse yesterday. Standing by in case of any unrest are 500 Wisconsin National Guard members who are stationed outside the city.
Black Lives Matter!
Self-defense is not a crime!
You look like a fool.
In an unusual ending that allowed Rittenhouse to select the jury from a lottery drum.
Folks, you can retire to consider your verdicts.
The jury, made of 7 women and 5 men, all white except for one person, are now deliberating Rittenhouse's fate.
There is no lawyer who could possibly say that long deliberations versus short deliberations favor one side or the other. At some point, they'll reach a consensus.
And these protests have gotten a little violent. As you can see from ABC News, 2 people have already been arrested during this, including a 20-year-old man who was arrested for battery, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest, and a 34-year-old female arrested for disorderly conduct, according to the Kenosha Police Department. During the arrest, law enforcement needed to deploy several officers to keep other people from interfering as well. And the governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, put out this statement saying to please respect the Kenosha community and their efforts to come together. I ask all those who choose to assemble and exercise their First Amendment rights in every community to do so safely and peacefully. And so it's nice that the governor, cared about this and is trying to say something to quell any other violence. However, it seemed rather soft in my opinion, and you know how these people are as well as I do. I just don't really see them taking that very seriously. But it is good that he has deployed the National Guard. That's something that I have been thinking should be done. So I'm sure that's pretty helpful, a good deterrent. It's just the way he's speaking seems a little soft to me. But yeah, hopefully things don't get any worse. as far as any other people needing to be arrested. Although, as we've seen, a lot of people who should be arrested aren't. But, I'm just going to keep praying that things go okay. It's also really crazy to me that there are Black Lives Matter protesters in front of the courthouse, because no black people were shot in the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. There were only 3 white people. I guess it's the fact that these people who were shot were supporters of Black Lives Matter, but, the facts show that that's really besides the point. They were the people who opposed a threat to Kyle. That's why they got shot. It doesn't matter what they were representing and who they were. They posed a threat to him. That's the only reason they got shot. And I wish that these Black Lives Matter people could just, come to their senses and realize that it's not all about them all the time. And they don't have to be out here protesting and causing more mayhem and needing the National Guard to be called out. And as of recording this, we are on day 3 of deliberations, but this article from yesterday from NPR shared some other very interesting information regarding the case. Apparently, halfway through the trial, a person who refused to give his name came to the prosecutor's office in Kenosha County with a video showing some evidence, and prosecutors conceded that the video file was inadvertently compressed when they attempted to send it to Rittenhouse's defense team. The file had lost some of its visual quality. Defense lawyers said they did not realize there was a difference until after testimony ended last week. So because of this, attorneys for Kyle Rittenhouse have requested a mistrial, claiming that prosecutors acted in bad faith by giving them an inferior copy of the video that may be a key piece of evidence in the case. The defense also says some of the issues should result in a mistrial with no chance for a retrial, also known as a mistrial with prejudice, while one could give prosecutors the option to try Rittenhouse again. And according to what I saw from USA Today this morning, Judge Bruce Schroeder has yet to rule on the mistrial motion and also has not ruled on a separate defense motion for a mistrial with prejudice. In my personal opinion, it's hard for me to believe that this messed up evidence actually became that way inadvertently. I would not be surprised at all if it was done purposefully, but, that's just my opinion. But that's just the type of thing that seems to happen all the time these days, and you've seen, if you've been watching the trial at all, how ridiculous the prosecution has been with kind of grasping at straws to make a guilty case against Rittenhouse. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this was something that was done purposefully, but God only knows. So still, we shall see what happens, and I am on the edge of my seat praying for justice, as I know a lot of people are. But to finish out this video, let me show you one other thing that happened that I thought was pretty awesome of the judge. He basically said that no reporters from MSNBC could be present during the trial because of some weirdness that happened with one of them. Watch this from Fox News.
The media have been asking questions. There's been conversation around this morning. We had asked the media coordinator to determine possible whereabouts of certain persons because we received a report this morning from the Kenosha Police Department that last evening, and let me just set this background here. The jury in this case is being transported from a different location in a bus with windows covered so that they don't have to look at aren't exposed to any signs by one side or another or interest in the case. And so I'm going to call it a sealed bus. And that's been done every day. And then they're brought here to this building. And last evening, a person who identified himself as James G. Morrison and who claimed that he was a producer with NBC News, employed for MSNBC under the supervision of someone named Irene Bayan in New York for MSNBC, The police, when they stopped him, because he was following at a distance of about a block and went through a red light, pulled him over and inquired of him what was going on, and he gave that information and stated that he had been instructed by Ms. Bayan in New York to follow the jury bus. The matter is under further investigation at this point, and the media has asked questions about it. That's the latest I have. And he was ticketed for violating a traffic control signal. He's not here today from what I'm told, and I have instructed that no one from MSNBC News will be permitted in this building for the duration of this trial. This is a very serious matter, and I don't know what the ultimate truth of it is, but absolutely it would go without much thinking that someone who is following the jury bus, that is it's extremely serious matter, and will be referred to the proper authorities for further action. Thank you.
Thank you again so much for being here today. Since you liked the video enough to make it all the way to the end, don't forget to click the thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to support what I do here, check out the link that will be in the description, and make sure that you're subscribed. Have a wonderful night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone you are in, and I will see